what's up, guys? It's Two Awesome Men.
And this is our spoiler-free review of X-Men Apocalypse.
And just to let y'all know, whenever we do these types of reviews over comic book movies, we're not going to take the comic books into consideration. We're just going to watch the movie as it is. In this film, the X-Men are put up against their greatest opponent, Apocalypse, played by Oscar Isaac. Apocalypse is the earliest known mutant, and he is able to place his consciousness inside the other bodies of mutants. And this allows him to live forever, as well as keep their powers.
After centuries of being entombed, yet still alive, and in a state of unconsciousness, he is awoken. After seeing that the world is being run by humans instead of his own kind, he decides to get a band of mutants together to take back his reign. Now, this movie is sort of a reboot. I mean, it sort of feels like a reboot, but in the same universe as the original movies. I say that because it's sort of a new origin story for the X-Men, because they introduced like Cyclops, Storm, and a whole bunch of other mutants. And it's really a story of them banding together for the first time, and I really think they did it a really cool way.
Yeah, that's true. Also, what's really cool about the way they did is the actors they chose for this movie. Most of them fit really well in this movie together. Especially you had James McAvoy as Professor X and Michael Fassbender as Magneto. They did really well.
Yeah, those are definitely the two of the best actors in this movie. I mean, they're all pretty terrific, but those two were pretty the top two.
Yeah, and also they did really good at trying to convey the emotions they're trying to get the audience to feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few sad parts, and I'm not gonna say they made me cry, although they actually did make someone cry behind us.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. but yeah, they did really well at making us feel that way. And so yeah, I mean so the movie overall was very good with conveying those things. So
now onto the topic of Apocalypse himself. Again, we're not going to take into consideration how he looks in the comics, because we both know that he definitely does look different than he does in the comic. But even considering that, we still like the appearance that they had in the movie. Even though he is sort of the size of a regular person, and sort of like his face looks sort of different than he does in the comics, I still feel like they still made him look pretty good for what they were going for. And also another thing, whenever they released the trailer, I was sort of worried about his voice, because I didn't feel like it sounded intimidating enough. But I feel like after the trailers were released, they went back, or they must have done something, because they changed his voice in the movie, the way it sounds in the movie and the way it sounded in the trailer. I feel like they changed it. They made it sound more like threatening and intimidating. Like they made it sound sort of like robotic, and they had effects added to his voice.
Yeah, I fully agree. It was like stupid robotic. It was actually kind of it really flowed well together and everything.
Right.
So,
and going back to his appearance, that it sort of leads to our cons that we're gonna bring up.
Yeah, so we'll bring up the cons right after this. Now we're on to our cons, like we said before, and as we said earlier, we didn't really like the size of Apocalypse. Now I'm not gonna say it was like horrible, but he was the size of just like a regular person. I feel like he could have been a little bit larger, not extreme, just a little larger. So
and it's not that big of a con, because we actually did, even though he was a little smaller, we still liked it. Just we felt that it could have been a lot more if they made him a little bit bigger.
Yeah, just a little bit more intimidating. So it was fine otherwise, though.
Yeah. And then, but another thing that we want to bring up is that the CGI in this movie was a little horrendous at times. Like Quicksilver, if y'all have seen Days of Future Past, he has a scene where like he goes in slow motion and everything, and he has another scene in this movie like that, and it's actually a fun scene, but the CGI was just pretty awful. And I still like the scene, just I feel like it could have been better CGI'd.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a thing about acting. Now, like we said in the pros section of this video, the acting was almost like really good, and like overall it was really well done, except for one character, and that is Sophie Turner as Jean Grey.
Even though she's hot.
Yeah. So, but she, like, her acting, it just didn't fit well at all. Like, I don't know what it was. Like, she didn't know how to display emotions or anything like that. So I feel like if they're going to continue with her, then she needs to do something with that acting, because she just wasn't very well done at all.
Yeah, and another thing is that the character of Magneto, I sort of feel like he's becoming sort of like the Loki of the X-Men universe. And what I mean by that is I think they're sort of overusing him too much. Just I don't really want to go into it that much, but I just feel like they need to cut down on using that character. And yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Yeah. And another kind of con is, I'm not going to say full on Jennifer Lawrence. I'm going to go ahead and bring up an unpopular opinion of mine and yours as well.
Yeah.
We're not really huge fans of Jennifer Lawrence. I really don't find her that good of an actress.
Yeah, especially on the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
She's probably the worst part of the Hunger Games.
Yeah,
movies,
I
to me,
really,
to be honest.
Yeah, especially in her, like, screaming and her emotion scenes weren't very well done. But in this movie, she actually did pretty well. I'm not gonna lie, she actually did a lot better than I thought she was gonna do. Until her very last scene in the entire movie, in which she was actually putting some kind of powerful. She was trying to act all powerful and trying to sound mean and emotional. Not really emotional, but trying to sound mean. And she didn't do that well. She should have sounded a little bit more powerful in that speech, like she usually does with her speeches with emotions in them.
Yeah. And the last con we wanted to bring up is that the character of Psylocke, they didn't really explain into detail why she became this very evil person. Like, the other people that Apocalypse brings in, you sort of understand their motives on why they would be drawn into Apocalypse. But Psylocke, it didn't really make sense why she was so driven on world destruction and such evil inside her. They didn't really explain that, so it was sort of fell flat, sort of a one-dimensional character.
Yeah, and we're not going to say like she's like started off as this great like being, you know,
right?
Because I mean, she was far from that, but she wasn't world destruction evil. You know, it was just like all of a sudden she just like turned that way. I mean, I guess Apocalypse came to her, but she just like fell right into it for no reason whatsoever. Yeah. And so those are our cons for this video. And here now it's time for our grades. And even though we had a lot of cons in this for this film, it didn't take away the enjoyment from it.
Yeah, like how I said that they're overusing the character of Magneto. I still like the character of Magneto. I still think that they really give him good motivation to do his actions. I still like his storyline and everything. I just feel like they just overuse him a little bit, but I still like his character.
Yeah. So we overall we highly recommend that you go see this movie. So since I'm going to give this a grade, I'm going to go ahead and give this an A-.
Yeah, and even though we said these cons, I still feel like this movie was probably at least one of my favorite X-Men movies, and I'm going to give it a B+.
Okay, so there you go. Thank you for watching our video, guys. If you like this video, you can click on our subscribe button and then go to our page and watch our other videos. We don't have a lot right now, but we'll get some more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this summer we're gonna just churn out a whole bunch of videos for y'all.
So there you go.
And we also have a Facebook page and an Instagram, although we haven't posted anything on our Instagram page. But y'all can go ahead and like those and follow those if y'all want.
Yeah. So thank you so much. All right, and we'll see. You'll see us later. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.